All the action from the 21st Trans Agulhas is proudly brought to you by PSP G Property Developers. Why not visit our website at www.pspg.co.za. Welcome everybody to the 2008-2009 PSP G Trans Agulhas. For the first of our three-part programs, we're going to be putting you in the center of the most dangerous inflatable boat race in the world, allowing you to experience all of the thrills and spills, taking you into the heart of the action, showing you all of the disappointments, all of the pain and the endurance, and of course all of the celebrations. It's been contested for 21 years along the coast of the Indian Ocean, and in the next few programs we'll be giving you an insight as to why this is regarded as the most dangerous inflatable boat race in the world. It starts off in Plettenberg Bay, heads along the Indian Ocean past the most beautiful garden route around the southernmost point of South Africa, the Cape Agulhas, and strays by into Hermanus, and then all the way around the Cape Peninsula and finishes in the Strand 5 days later. Total of 700 kilometers travelled, 19 stops en route. More than 20 boats completed this year's entry field, and scrutineers had their hands full inspecting the boats. Of course, apart from ensuring the boats had to comply to the technical specs for the class they entered into, the safety aspect is vitally important. Crews have to be prepared to deal with any emergency situation, and all teams have to carry all the emergency essentials. After scrutineering, all the teams gathered for the official opening of the race presentation. A special award being given to Wimpy Ackerman, this year competing in his 18th consecutive Agulhas. While teams were given a quick briefing, we spoke to some of the drivers and co-drivers to get their outlook on what lay ahead.
Ja, ek wil net sê ons het opgeskuif van standaardklas af na die blueprint klas toe. Dis 'n hele ander game. So dit sal definitief anders bietjie moeiliker wees. Daar's ander kompeteerders bietjie sterker is. Ons het nie baie tyd gehad om saam te oefen nie, veral as gevolg van werksomstandighede. Maar die paar keer wat ons saam geoefen het, ons ken mekaar lankal, ons ry al lankal saam, so ons het gou in plek geval en ons voel gemaklik. Natuurlijk zal het Stefan Dinnetjie wees, Wimpy Ackerman, Wimpy het baie ervaring. Ons is ook meer vir die rowwe water, ons soek hierdie water, ons soek die wind, ons hou van dit. Die plat water is ons nie so gemaklik nie, ons is nie so vinnig nie. Maar as dit rof is, dan staan ons op goeie kans.
LA star Max Saki Schrader was competing in his 10th Agulhas, but the weather conditions had him concerned.
Well, Dennis, this year is the 10th time that I'm here. And it's the worst I've ever seen it. I've never seen it this way. And we've been out yesterday. We just planned to put on the propeller to give us a torque and keep the boat stable on the water and bring the nose down. Obviously, we're rating Dreyer Panikak, that was the previous winner in the standard class, and then also Stefan Dinnetjie, that is the current world champion. The guys I think that's rated. But the underdogs I think this year in the P class is Rocky Erasmus. That is the three guys that I think is in front, but we'll just have to try and stay with them and wait for the mistakes. You know, my age, I can't do the body punches which they take. It's taking a toll on me this time. But I just want to finish this one this year. This is my main aim, and get home safely and complete number 10.
Then it was time for the compulsory pre-race briefing. Blaaskems Tiaan Vermeulen and Dion Gillemier were checking out the weather predictions and tide tables for the next few days. They know the area and the water well, making them favourites to get to Cape Town first. Willie de Wit, the race OD, ensuring that everybody knows the rules and procedures. A man who has won 5 Agulhas and needs no introduction to the Trans Agulhas is Gemini's Dave Barnett. Fresh from racing on Australia, he was back to defend his title.
Well, to be perfectly honest, we don't know too much because I've been away for 6 or 7 months, but I believe I think Tiaan Vermeulen and Johan Ludovics, I think, are the guys sort of at the top of their game at the moment. Well, the weather forecast is meant to ease tonight or early in the morning, so as long as the wind drops off, the sea won't be too bad. The big swell's gone, so it should be alright. It'll be okay.
7 a.m. the next morning. The gale force winds had died down, but left behind a thick mist blanket that covered the entire coastline. We're covering 189 kilometers in total today from Plettenberg Bay to Mossel Bay, 10 stops en route. Weather conditions overcast, low cloud cover and a high of 26 predicted for later on. Due to the misty weather conditions, organisers had to wait for the low cloud cover to lift before they could start the race, giving crews some time to work on the boats. A quick roll call to ensure all teams were present. And then it was time to get the 2008-2009 PSP G Trans Agulhas on the way in some extremely choppy sea conditions. Thick mist even kept our Wild Africa Cream helicopter crew grounded, as the conditions made flying over the ocean an absolute impossibility. Teams had to head out towards Nature's Valley for the first beach stop of the day. From there it was onto the waves and then back to Plettenberg Bay for fuel stop. PSPG's Roy Ball and Steph Oliver in a Thundercat were on form as they were the first team to land back at Plet. Ball's knowledge of the sea conditions and skill as a pilot gave him the upper hand in the choppy surf. Oliver having to do his bit at the beach stop. Just behind them, contesting second place, was the Nadio Plant High team of Loerewijk and Van Heestien, closely followed by Blaaskem Caesar of Tiaan Vermeulen and Dian Gillemeur. Gillemeur having the edge on Van Heestien as they run for the beach marker. His co-pilots are going to be quite fit. Look at Gillemeur, he takes a tumble at the end, goes nose first into the surf, right about here. And then of course it allows the Nadio to get away first. As the 5-times champ makes his way towards Plet Beach, still a long way to go to Cape Town. Dave Barnett not willing to take any risks in the choppy surf conditions. The first of the standard class boats coming in, it's the Wild Africa Cream team of Eugene Forster and Quincy Talliard leading the way. These two, of course, favourites to take the standard class in this year's Trans Agulhas. We catch up with the race leaders as we head past the heads in Knysna. You can see the sea conditions clearing up a bit. 4 boats out in the front. It looks like Gemini, Denario, PSPG and Nexus out in front. The team is making good use of the flat water. Blaaskem outfit of Tiaan Vermeulen and Dian Gillemeur had some technical problems as they left Plettenberg Bay. It pushed them back by 8 minutes. Vermeulen doing his best to catch up. He doesn't want to end up on day 1 8 minutes behind the leader. As we catch up to the leaders heading into Brenton on sea just outside Knysna. The mist moving in from the ocean once again causing a real problem. Just on 80 kilometers covered as we hit Brenton beach stop, the Wild Africa Cream helicopter being forced to keep above the cloud cover for safety reasons. And then we head around Biffles Bay at Walker Point. We still have around 100 kilometers to go before we get to Mossel Bay. Dave Barnett in touch with the 2 leading boats. It looks like Denario and Roy Ball in the PSP G outfit out in front. If the conditions are favourable, the modifieds can hit anywhere between 70 and 90 kilometers per hour on the flat water. Look at Roy Ball, easy on the throttle there. As Olivier directs him in the right direction, the role of the co-pilot is so important. We're on our way to Swartvlei, and it's the Denario boat of Loerewijk and Van Heestien in second place. PSPG's Ball and Olivier in third. Who was leading? It was the Blaaskem boys, Tiaan Vermeulen and Dian Gillemeur. They'd used their knowledge of the coast and pushed hard through the misty conditions and clawed their way back from an 8-minute deficit to arriving first at Swartvlei.
We rode hard, got to Brenton, which was a beach stop before this. We were about first 6. I couldn't believe we caught up all that distance because I thought those guys were gone by a mile. We rode hard the last part as well because the mist started clearing this way, so I thought we're definitely going to go to the end in Mossel Bay. Got here and the oak said it was cancelled, and I said, but where's all the other guys? They must have gone on. Only to be informed that the other guys were behind us, so we must have caught up the last couple of places in the last stretch as well.
Denario's Loerewijk and Van Heestien pushed hard but had to be content with a second place finish. PSPG's Ball and Olivier was in third at the beach stop. It was a good effort by the veteran driver, but he admitted that the conditions almost got the better of him.
It's actually very daunting. It actually became scary at one point. I had a good lead on everybody, and when we came around Robert, the mist, you couldn't see 50 meters in front of you, and then I thought, no, you didn't know where the coast was. You become disorientated, and then I stopped and I waited for some boats to come along. Johan Loerewijk came, and we stuck together. We just ran along the coast all the way down to Brenton.
As we catch the Nexus team coming in 5th overall and of course leading the charge in the blueprint class. It seemed like the officials had called it a day, the long haul stage being called off due to adverse weather conditions. The rest of the competitors and teams were lying scattered off the garden route in the mist. It will mean that no times will be logged for the long haul on the first day's action. Lionel Ball and Bongani Handesi deciding to use the break to get their red square PSP G boat off the water. It was a brief meeting with the guys from National Sea Rescue to update them on the sea conditions. And all that was left to do was to get the boats off the beach, get the gear loaded up and head off to Mossel Bay. While the crews took the road to Mossel Bay, some 80 kilometers on, we get treated to a visual spectacular of the garden route. And what an amazing piece of coastline this is. So we head our way past Grootbrak just outside Wilderness and onto Mossel Bay. The PSP G Summer Extreme is an additional series that is run with the Trans Agulhas. It's an action-packed racing series that aims to develop the junior and regional racing talent. The event follows the Agulhas as it heads down to Cape Town. The beaches were packed, and for the first time we had commentary on the beach courtesy of Brian Eminis and the crew from Capital Sounds. The first race in the PSP G Summer Extreme was on the way. It was the development series. And this series, of course, is run by PSA. These boats were initially designed for use in the Disney theme park in the United States of America. They've been brought to South Africa and used for the development races. Powered by 15 horsepower motors, the craft and their pilots are used to competing on inland racing, usually held on lakes and dams, so racing in these choppy conditions took quite a bit of getting used to. Chadley Cupido and Sonica McLean put up a good performance to dominate in the first few heats of the day. In Heat 3 it saw them back in the thick of the action, but this time Bradwin Davids and Palladino September in boat 31 were not going to give up that easily. Xavier Davids and Vian van Sail managed to keep ahead for a few laps in boat 1, but soon Cupido and McLean got back their winning streak. First past Davids and Palladino in boat 31, and then they set off to catch Davids and van Sail in boat number 1. Around the bottom, boy, but look at that, boat number 31 not taking it that easily. Told you they're not giving it up and staying ahead, but in the end it was Chadley Cupido and Sonica McLean that dominated the day. And what a good performance from the two development youngsters. A bright future ahead for both of them. In the F250 class, it was Jacques Hanekom that was enjoying the tricky choppy conditions in his monohull, while Nikita Taylor was competing in the T550 class. He was putting up an impressive performance. At the front of the pack, it was Chris de Toey in his F250 who applied the pressure to keep Jacques Hanekom behind him. We're seeing a lot of the ladies competing in powerboat racing. Megan March was keeping up with the boys in the third place in the F250 class. Some side-by-side action here with Jacques Hanekom as they contested around the front beach marker heading into the back line. But it was Chris de Toey who took the day's honours in his Stanford Spa boat in the F250 class.
Dit was rof, die swells was regtig groot, ons het gesukkel met settings, ons daar 'n tydjie gevat om gewoon te raak aan alles, maar op die einde het ons dit reg gekry.
The F550 class sees the more senior pilots compete for honours. Early on, it was the Monster Energy boat of Deacon Charles that capsized, putting him out of the race in the early heats. Rather, Shelley Robinson and Willem van Sail did their best to close down Zach Blassis, who was leading. The Steel Valve boat had the edge over the field. Chris de Toey ran into some technical difficulties. The race was yellow flagged but not stopped. Of course, it allowed the rest of the field to catch up. However, Zach Blassis got into some technical problems, and that forced him out of the race, allowing Shelley Robinson to come through and claim a well-deserved win. In the second heat of the day, Robinson managed to get a flying start and led for a good part of the race. But in the end, it was a determined Willem van Sail on the Wildcat CK boards boat that pulled out all the punches to take the lead. And he held the lead right until the end, taking his first win of the day. Shelley Robinson took a deserved second place, while Chris de Toey took third in the Stanford Spa boat. As we get ready to head into the final heat of the day, it was the Monster Energy boat of Deacon Charles who was back in action, taking early lead with Chris de Toey and Willem van Sail being left to play catch-up. Charles took his first win in the series, but the day's honours overall belonged to Willem van Sail in the Wildcat CK boards boat.
Die condities is die eerste keer wat ons dit ry, surf circuit of so, ons is offshore, maar is die eerste keer wat ons dit in geval doen. Maar vir my was dit baie lekker, want my boot is vet en zwaar, so ek's gewoond aan die rowwe water.
In the regional inflatables, Herman van Geums had a terrible heat one with engine trouble getting the better of him. He was back in the second heat to contend for honours, but it was his brother Nico van Geums who was hungry for the victory as he kept the sunscreen boat on pace to claim his second win of the day. In the final heat, it was off to a good start, but once again Herman van Geums being left behind on the line, those technical problems just keeping the Hortons boat out of the water. Adrian Pretorius took an early lead in the heat, but it was good piloting that saw Nico van Geums apply the pressure to claim the overall win of the day in the regional standard class. We spoke to him after the race.
Ag, dit is eintlik baie lekker. See toestande het bietjie platter geraak. Windjie bietjie van voor, maar net mooi dop vir die boot nie omgooi nie, maar verder baie lekker geweest.
Alright then, let's recap those final results of the Summer Extreme on day one. Willem van Zyl took the honours in the F550 class. First place belonged to Chris de Tooy in the F250s, while Billy Besaidno took the T550 class. Development class, Shadley Cupido and Sonica McLean, while the regional inflatables went to Nico van Geums and Peter Fredericks. And so we move on to the final surf action of the day. It's the Red Square, King of the Surf. Keep in mind, with the cancelled longboard stage of the morning meant that the first times of the Agulhas will be scored right here in the Red Square, King of the Surf. It's fast-paced racing action, only 4 laps per class, and the top South African photographer, Mouton van Zyl, in the thick of the action as well. First class to hit the water was the novice class, and a great start by Rianto van Niekerk and Oan van Zyl. They've got a flying start, but it looks like Jacobson was shy in the Stingray boat, a little slow to get off the line there. It's the Van Niekerk Renovators boat taking charge at the front with a blistering pace, extending their lead after just 1 lap. Some beautiful slow-mo action. Look at that as they plough head into that wall of water. The Cobra boat of the Swart Krantz leading the Beach House boat into lap 2 as we go and move around. Oh, look at this beautiful shot of the leaders as they go airborne. Van Niekerk having to keep his wits about him. He's got a turn now as he heads into the oncoming swell, and now some beautiful high-flying action from the leaders. By the second lap, it is the Beach House boat that moved up into second place. Last couple of 100 meters now, and the Viking boats found some pace as well, but it's going to be too late. The honours of this race will belong to Rianto van Niekerk of the Van Niekerk Renovators boat with his co-pilot Ohan Janssen van Rensburg, and a great run from them. Into the standard class we go. The surf was picking up, and so was the pace of the racing action. The field gets going as the tide rolls in. We're in for some serious action here. It's Eugene Foster and Koos Italyard that gets a flyer on the field in the Wild Africa Green boat, leaving Mr. Farmer's Hanno Grobler and Christian Nim to play catch-up in second place. As they come around the top way, it looks like Hanno Grobler and Christian Nim being challenged there for second place by PSP G, Jacques Martin. And look at this. It's Foster and Talliard. They lead the way. Some close side-by-side racing there by the Mr. Farmer boat and PSP G. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. And a beautiful slow-mo shot there. The Stingray crew of Samaria and Maka taking a beating in the shallow surf. They managed to hang on to 6th place. Lap 2, looks like Grobler and Nim were closing in on Foster and Talliard. But that they have the pace to get by them, we'll have to wait and see. Look at Nexus. The Milan brothers go head-to-head with the breaker, and Real Milan being lifted right out of the boat as they hit the wall of water. That's going to leave a bruise mark. Third lap, Wild Africa Cream still on a charge at the front and managing to keep Mr. Farmer just behind them. Samaria and Maka still stuck in 6th place, fighting their way through the surf, while in 7th place the Infanta team of Stian Kluti and Dirk Steyn not being able to improve on their position at all. Robbie Koon and Vivian Prince off the pace in the Cobra Transport boat. They stuck in 8th place, and a beautiful head-on breaker as they take it in slow-mo. Look at that. We're in the final meters of the last lap. Foster and Talliard leading in the Wild Africa Cream boat. Hanno Grobler, Christian Nim second, and Mr. Farmer. Some high-flying action. They side by side. Let's see what happens. Oh, look at this. Jacques Martin and the PSPG boat in there as well. He's got the inside line. Can Foster and Talliard keep him at bay? It's going to be a sprint to the line. It looks like they might have it. Oh, and Nim is in there as well. He might even grab second place. We'll have to look at those final results to confirm who grabbed what there. That was very close racing in the standard class. So we move on with the action. It's the second last race of the day as the blueprints line up on the water. Let's have a look who gets away first off the line. It's a great start by Steyn Basson and Jan Kriel in the Barte Industrials boat. Wimpy Ackerman in the action as well with Imperial Cargo. But it's Nexus who gets to the back turn line. That boy first. They go through first. Let's see if they can hold their position. Yes, they do for the front surf marker. Van Niekerk and Kotze is in charge up front in the Nexus boat, and the rest of the field's got to play catch-up. They're going to be heading into the W soon. Look at this. Oh, beautiful shot. Tor Construction. They're second last there, but they're really trying very hard as we get an aerial shot as the guys head into the W. This is where the action's going to be. Nexus leads the way. Second comes Basson and Creel. And Vipi Ackerman and Whitey Low charging hard in the Imperial boat. They head towards the backline marker. Nexus trying to extend their lead over Stein Basson and Jan Creel in the Barty Industrials boat. Now it's on towards the beach marker. Let's see who gets there first. Nexus leads the way in a beautiful slow-mo shot of Van Niekerk and Kotze. Look, quick glance back, and Kotze says, go, go, go. Give it gas. They get through the small swells. Here comes Basson. He gets it wrong and gets pushed sideways. And that was really close. Can we see that in slow-mo? I want to see that in slow-mo again. Stein Basson goes into the swell, gets it all wrong, gets pushed sideways. And look at Vipi Ackerman. Almost a serious collision there. Almost riding over Basson. That was a close call. And the Tor Construction boat out. Looks like they've got a little bit too deep. Nice slow-mo shot of the Marlow Transport boat as they fight their way through the swell. It's Stefan Lindeke and Audrey Brunt in 7th place in the micro-link PC boat, having to fight hard to keep LA Styles, Nick Saki Schrader and Nico Maria at bay. And the end, it was a well-deserved effort from Van Niekerk and Kotze in the Nexus boat. A really good win from them. Who's going to be in second place? We'll have to wait and see. It's Imperial Cargo, Vipi Ackerman. He's in the Air Force. He works as a radar technician. Really good finish from the guys there. So we're on to the last race of the day. It's the Modifieds, and this is going to be high-flying action if you've ever seen it. Donadio leads the way. Into the back boy they go. It's Lionel Ball and the red square PSP G boat on the outside. Let's see who gets to that beach marker first. Donadio leads the way. Lionel Ball in second place. Who's that? It's Glasscam. It's Vermeulen and Gillemere. And then PH Construction in there as well. But Vermeulen and Gillemere really challenging. They've got Lionel Ball and the hot spot there. The red square PSPG boat's going to have to pull out all the action as the Nadia comes around the beach marker, heading into the second lap. Oh, a slow-mo shot as they go head-to-head to the wall of water. Nice clearance there as they get past. But Vermeulen and Gillemere putting on the pressure. Lionel's going to have to keep his wits about himself. BH Plant higher in fourth place as well. They're doing a really hard performance. This is Robertson Abattoirs heading to Borton. Connie Douth coming around the back line. Oh, he high sides it and it's going over. He's gone over. He's not going to be happy with that. The red flags are up. The race has been stopped. Let's have a look at this in slow-mo. The Borton Douth come around the corner. They get it all wrong. It looks like he gets the swell. He just hits the swell wrong and doesn't get off the power quick enough, and that sends the boat over. He just hit the swell wrong there. On the restart, PSPG's Roy Ball and Steph Olivier to command at the front. As we go to the field, go by the PH Plant high boat. Marius Ludovik's being caught out on his first beach run. The tide pulling back and he's stuck on the sand. He gets going, but it's going to cost him. And look at this as we come out of the W. It's an open battle between the two Ball brothers. Roy leads the way. Lineland close second. And Nadio is in third place. So we're looking to head into the second last lap here. Looks like Cobra Transport's also being caught out by the receding waterline here. As the field comes through, they're going to have to move. They get it clear. And still the two Ball brothers in front. Lionel Ball's in second place. The Nadia's in third. No change in the front position as they come through the W. Roy goes through first. Lionel second. The Nadia not being able to make an impression on the two. As we head into the last couple of meters of this race, it's Roy Ball, Steph Olivier coming around the beachline marker. The PSPG boat's got the lead. Looks like they're going to be taking this one. Who's second place? It's Lionel Ball, the red square PSPG boat. They're going. Oh, Bongardian Desi gets his head out. He sees it coming. But look at this. Donadio, Ludovic and Van Heystien. Looks like they've managed to get past Lionel Ball. They're going around the corner. It's going to be an all-out charge for the line. Who gets through first? Roy Ball, Steph Olivier grabs the win, but who's going to be second? That's what we're looking for. Here they come as they charge for the line. It looks like Donadio might just have them on the line. Ludovic and Van Heystien, it's going to be a side-by-side charge for the line there. We're going to have to wait and see in those final finishing position who gets overall honours as the rest of the field comes to the finish line. So let's confirm those racing positions. Modified class went to Roy Ball and Steph Olivier, PSPG, USN, and Johan Ludovic and Bertie Van Heystien in the Nadio boat. They did get second place there. Blueprint class went to Dreyer van Niekerk and Jaco Kotze in the Nexus boat. Wimpy Ackerman and Whitey Low grabbing second in the Imperial Cargo boat. Standard class, Eugene Foster, Kwasi Taljaard, it's Wild Africa Cream taking the honours. While in the novice class, Rianto van Niekerk and Ohan van Rensburg in Van Niekerk Renovators boat, doing themselves proud with Wynand van Niekerk and Howard Barrett in the Beach House Wine boat in second place. Coming up in the next episode, Beach House's fatal mistakes bring frustration. Will Dave Barnett be able to make up for the time on the leaders? While the Africa Cream pulls out all the stops. The swells get bigger. The teams try harder. The competition gets stiffer. And the mistakes just keep getting bigger. All the action from the Trans Agulhas is proudly brought to you by PSP G Property Developers. Visit our website at www.pspg.co.za.